Hi ladies and gentlemen, Christoph the Polish Geek welcomes you to another movie review, the review of The Accountant 2, and that movie was great. Like I've been saying that 2025 wasn't shaping to be a good year for movies and that most movies were bad, but it seems like it finally started, good movies finally started picking up and it's finally starting to get good. Like Sinners was really good, but I actually like The Accountant 2 even more, actually. So, yep, now either The Gorge or The Accountant 2 is my favorite now movie of 2025. But I have to say, The First Accountant was already a great movie back in 2016. Like, I actually seen it much later on the streaming with my father, and we both really enjoyed it, but this is a perfect type of movie that I never thought it needed a sequel. Yeah, like the sequel was great, but then again it was one of those movies I feel like it could have a sequel, it doesn't need one, I don't care either way, like either one is fine. That was my attitude mostly towards the sequel, but I heard that apparently by popular demand and that people wanted a sequel and now it was being made, and this is very much what I would want in a sequel. I would say in some ways it's actually better than The First Accountant, because what I really liked about the First Accountant was that this was about autistic hitman and him solving the puzzles and all that and being all into mathematics, how kind of his autism kind of like ties up with his job as a hitman, and I really liked that dynamic, and I thought the story was pretty interesting and engaging, and I also find it relatable because I'm autistic myself. Don't know if I ever said it on this channel, but yes, newsflash, I am autistic, so I found this even more relatable. I'm certainly not a hitman, nor would I wanna be one, but yes, I'm autistic, so that was also the really unique part I really like about The Accountant 2, but I really think The Accountant 2 is actually better than The First Accountant, and the main thing that really steals the whole thing is the dynamic between two brothers. Because in the story of The Accountant 2 is that the titular accountant, our autistic hitman, Christian Wolf, is teaming up with his long-lost brother Braxton to take down a human trafficking ring, and really the relationship between two brothers. And fun fact, Braxton is also autistic, although his autism shows in a very different way. And if you ask me whose elements I have in autism, I say it's actually a little bit combination of both. Like sometimes I agree more with Christian, sometimes more with Braxton. But yes, the dynamic between the two autistic brothers hitmen was really the whole best part of the movie, and really the true heart and soul of the whole movie. Because the thing is, there is some action in the movie, especially in the last act of the movie, which is spectacular, but action isn't really the point of the movie. As I said, the true heart and soul of the movie lies in the relationship and the dynamic between the two autistic hitman brothers and how they each have totally different sides of their autism and how they do it to solve the mystery, which is really exciting. Like the dialogues and their dynamics is really the best part, and how they interact to solve the mystery. Like when I was looking at the reviews of the movie and hearing that there is action in the movie, but the action is not really the point. The main point is the dynamic between the two brothers, and they were so right, because this is truly the heart and soul of the movie, as I already said a couple of times. And what even adds more awesomeness here is that the performances by Ben Affleck and John Bernthal are fantastic. Like John Bernthal, I really thought he was great as the Punisher, and he was great here too, just as much. And even though it very much recognizably was the Punisher, Frank Castle, like his performance was so great that I actually forgot it was the Punisher, and instead it very much seemed like Christian's brother Braxton, the character of this movie. So yes, the performances by Ben Affleck and John Bernthal were spectacular and fantastic. But what adds even more interesting dynamic into the story and the relationship is that there is also a female cop who was actually working against Christian in the very first movie, but here she kind of reluctantly teams up with him and his brother to help them take down the human trafficking ring, and she had some really interesting dynamic into the whole relationship and solving the mystery. I really loved that, but the movie also was not devoid of funny and comedic moments as well. Like There are a couple of times where I straight up really laughed during the movie, and I have to say that I really loved the comedy in this movie. It was really well done, felt so natural and completely in place with the movie, and it completely did not detract from an overall action thriller serious story. I really loved the comedy, and plus the movie is not devoid of some really interesting twists and turns, kind of like the first Accountant before it actually. Overall, I think The Accountant 2 is a really great sequel, and it truly exceeded my expectations. I've been hearing that it's really good, and I expected it to be just like maybe as good as the original at best, but it truly exceeded my expectations, and I honestly feel that it's actually better than the first one, and it's all thanks to the awesome dynamic and the relationship between Ben Affleck's Christian Wolf and John Berthol's Baxton Wolf. Yep, that, as I said, was really the best part of the movie and single-handedly makes it better than the first one, in my opinion. Overall, The Accountant 2 is a really great movie and shows me that 2025 is finally picking up on actually giving us great movies, and The Accountant 2 or The Gorge is possibly now the best movie of 2025. And thank you all of you for checking out this movie review. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you then, bye!